Hello everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming today and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. My name's Flynn, I am hosting today. I am very delighted to be joined once again, wait, where's all my stuff? By Alex Lehours. Alex, how you doing, mate? Turn that music down a little bit.
Good, Flynn, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. We had a great stream yesterday. If you missed out, don't worry. We'll give you a kind of quick little catch up before we get stuck into everything today. We are live. We're live on Behance. We're live on YouTube. So if you've got any comments, questions, as we're rolling along, please don't hesitate to throw them in chat. That's part of the fun part of being live. We can answer questions and things like that. Very, very good. And thank you, Johanna, for looking after us in chat as we go on. Without further ado, we always run out of time on Adobe Live. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to pass it over to Alex. Maybe give us a bit of a recap of what we did yesterday and then jump into what we're doing today.
Absolutely. Happy to do that. So, yeah, welcome back, everyone. Yesterday, I touched briefly, because again, like we were saying, that hour goes very fast. I touched briefly on how I sketch some ideas and then bring it into Photoshop to sketch and then take it to Illustrator to create the final artwork. Today, I'll focus more on how I piece together my compositions. So in saying that, I will open it up. So I think, yeah, where we left off yesterday, I did show, I can open it back up actually, just to do a quick little recap. So we were looking at this lion yesterday, and then I took him into, sorry, no, I did have it was the right file. And then we brought him into Illustrator yesterday. So yeah, I think that's where we're up to. Here we go, final elements. You can always be as prepared as possible and you still can't find things. So yeah, yesterday I was just giving, using the brushes that I've created, that sort of thing, and the blob tool, all that sort of stuff. How I would actually illustrate it in Illustrator. But again, today I want to focus more on piecing together the overall composition once I've got all my bits and pieces for the artwork ready to go. And at the beginning of yesterday's episode, I did touch upon briefly, how I set up, a rough idea of the composition. So I knew with this one, I wanted it on a square format. I didn't want the artwork to hit corner to corner, top to bottom. I wanted it sort of more centered and almost exploding out, with a sort of a central hero figure, which is this lion guy here with his wings. And then from there, I basically, the same way I did everything yesterday, I draw whatever I'm thinking of including. For this particular one, it was just stuff that I personally like and include in my work. So I've actually got these elements ready to go over to the side. We even touched upon this little guy yesterday, how I draw, mascots and more cartoony looking things. So he's ready to go. So these are all sort of the rough individual elements that I have ready to go. I like grouping each individual thing together. That way it's just easy to maneuver when I'm piecing these things together. I have this very rough, line work that I've done just to give you an indication of, how I want it to sit. But I guess that's the beauty of Illustrator and vector stuff. You can play around with the sizing, move things around until you're happy. So I'll start with this. Like I said, I knew this guy was going to be the main feature. So I'll, sort of position him in the middle. I've got my little emblem here that I always feature, so I might throw that in the front. And then it's just a matter of mixing and matching and playing around with what I think works. I might put it all together and then realize, I'm not happy with that, so I move some things around. So once I've done this, I want to talk about how I then take this artwork into Adobe Express and just use some of the more basic animation features in there, just to add a bit more, another level to the work, make it a bit more interesting. People seem to engage with videos and motion graphics online these days rather than static imagery, which I find anyway. So it's always good to add that sort of extra element to your work if you can. So
algorithm as well, right? Like it is us, but it's also all these platforms leaning far more and we don't know exactly how it's going, but you can definitely tell if you upload a reel compared to just a static kind of image, or, you know, not even a carousel or something, just the stark difference between how many, like the algorithm's like, oh, cool, this moves. People like things that move. I'm going to send it to more people. So even if you know, I remember seeing someone recently just saying, it doesn't matter what you do, but just make sure that everything's moving from now on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which, look, it has added another, I guess, another element to people's work, but it's also made it that much more difficult, I think, because I used to create, you know, I'm not a motion guy at all. I'm not even going to pretend that I have any clue about animation or anything like that, and video and all that sort of stuff. So I was used to, like a lot of creatives, creating your artwork, a still image, whether it's a digital thing, a hand painted thing, whatever it is, and then sharing that, which is great. You know, that's all good. But yeah, the algorithms have definitely changed to make it that you know, they want that motion. It seems to get more engagement these days, and look, all that sort of stuff. I know it's social media, but that all helps, especially when you're, you know, doing your own practice, your art practice for yourself. You need as much sort of promotion and engagement with potential clients and followers as much as possible. So it all helps. So anything to sort of gain that that traffic, that traction, you know, you try anything. So yeah. So again, I'm just mucking around with, you know, what I think may work. Sometimes if I feel like, you know, that'll work better over here, you know, I can mix and match with that. I mean, you know, it's sort of all the debate. This is just how I piece it together. I don't like that guy there, so I'll bring him sort of here. Just little things like that. I have a library of sort of these paint splatters and splashes that I like to sort of go to and sort of sit them at the back just to give it, you know, so it's not too much of a clean, hard finished edge to my
I was
work.
going to ask you about the assets.
And
like
there
must be repeatable
these,
items that you use, and do you just kind of, you know,
absolutely
build that library over time, and then you can bring those elements in? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, very much like that. And look, a lot of the time, you know, I might repeat certain things, like this flower here I've used a few times in different works. You know, it's these are all sort of the sub support elements, if you like. So yeah, I mean, I try not to repeat things too much. You know, you want originality and something unique in everything you do. But things like this, especially when I'm sort of creating a work that I guess best represents what I do, then yeah, I definitely have those libraries to refer to. So yeah, and again, just mucking around with the different, you know, this might go here. So just to fill that in, I'm going to get rid of now that thing and just see how it's looking. Yeah, it's just a matter of playing around.
Yeah.
Very, you know, this is almost the fun part. As long as I've got everything I want to include ready to go. Yeah, like, you know, you sort of fun and frustrating at the same time, because you might create something and realize, oh, that doesn't fit anymore. You know, going back to this sort of thing, it gives me a rough indication of, you know, what I want, but until I see the actual imagery, the text, the patterns, I don't really know if it's going to work or not. So what else have we got over here? So I'm just going to try and use all these guys. So that's right, I'll put something here because there's a bit too much black shadow there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really is just mixing and matching, seeing where things work. If things look a bit too busy, you know, I might put that in there, and that's basically it. So I might look at that again on another day and think, oh, I'm not happy with this, it needs something else, or that doesn't quite fit well, or things like that. So but that's pretty much how I piece a composition together. Again, things might change. Like I might look and go, oh, I'm not happy with that, I'm going to draw something else, or even change the colors. I mentioned yesterday that I like to you know, stick to a minimal color palette, so you know, you can muck around with the different colors, that sort of thing. I'm always a big fan of red and black, something quite bold. So yeah, that's basically it. So I'm just going to save that.
Nice.
And then look, it's great that you've got the the flat template and that sort of thing. The flat finished artwork, which more than happy with. But once I started using Adobe Express for just some basic things, and realized they had the animation feature, that really excited me, because I thought, okay, finally I've always wanted to animate my works, but I don't have that sort of skill set at all. A lot of the time, budgets don't have that allowance to sort of, contact an animator to get them to do it. So for basic things, when you just want to share some personal work or some projects, you just want to give it that little bit more, another dynamic to it to engage with other people. Taking it into a program like Adobe Express is always helpful. So what we'll do now, I'm going to open up Adobe Express. So this is the home page of Adobe here. I usually start from your own content. So I've got one ready to go down here.
I do that a lot.
What I've done, so what I found was, it's a fairly new platform program, which is great. But what I found was when I uploaded my Illustrator file directly into here, it did take a long time to load, and then things didn't load quite, properly, because there was a lot of content in there. So a way I found to sort of avoid that was save each individual element here as a PNG.
Yeah.
So I've saved them here. Let's open up, say, my Ziggy mascot. So yeah, he's ready to go. Pretty much the exact same theory as having your individual grouped elements in here anyway. And I just found that works. So I go back into Adobe Express. I start with this black square, and then it's just as easy as, upload from device. I've got all that stuff ready to go. What I'd like to do is I save the entire artwork as a PNG as well. So this is now, because I'm going to have to do now in Adobe Express is piece this artwork together again, which takes a few extra minutes, but in the long run, it is a lot more time consuming, rather than waiting for all these, high vector graphics to load and all that sort of thing. So just going to lower the opacity of this a little bit. And then it's just the process of going back to the media menu and uploading each thing again. It should all be to the same size. So I might have to maneuver it a little bit to fit it together. And it's just a matter of, loading it all in again. The great thing about this is everything over on this side, it comes as layers now. So everything's on a separate layer. So if I want to move things to the front and to the back, I can easily do that. So it works really well. So I'll just upload a few of these. I won't repiece the whole artwork together again. Mind you, we do have time, but I don't want to bore people out there. So it's quite fun having this sort of these extra tools at your disposal these days. So
that's really cool. I really like how you have the full composition as a reference as well, because that's something that I probably wouldn't think of, and then I would end up kind of just trying to remember how I did everything before. Yeah.
Well, that's right. Like, I mean, look, a lot of the time it doesn't really matter, but I do want it to sort of fit close to the original composition anyway. So, for something like this was a personal piece, but, if you're doing client work, you've submitted a concept or the art, you obviously want it to be the same. So, and I actually upload all this stuff individually just so I can play around with the layers as I'm going. That's basically how I get it all in there. You know what? We've got time. I may as well, if I am boring, please let me know. But I am going to
throw them all in.
The whole thing while we're here. It's easy to fix in.
It doesn't take long.
Chat while I'm doing it. Nice. Yeah, that's right. So, and again, it's so easy. Like it's very, very easy. What do I want? What did I just upload? Sorry, I can't remember.
The card, I think.
I'll upload the flower. Got some flowers. There we go. This is the other thing. It gets gets confusing. So this flower goes here, and I'll put him behind Ziggy Boy. Here we go. And then I actually want to, I'll upload that again rather than copying it over. And what I want to do.
And while you're doing all that, I got some questions as well. I know you do lots of mural work and digital work and design work. Like, what's your preference these days? Like getting out and outside and painting walls, or being inside and doing digital stuff?
Yeah, I like a bit of both, to be honest. I am getting older, as sad as that is, and so the body is certain jobs the body doesn't keep up as much anymore, or the recovery time. You know, when you're on site all day, up ladders, up scissor lifts, up and down, you know, constantly, you know, brush strokes, your legs hurt, your shoulders hurt, but that's just me because I'm getting old and unfit. But,
I feel that.
I like a bit of both. So I guess I'm lucky that, yeah. So I'm not the only one. I'm lucky that I have a bit of a mix between the two things. So when the mural work isn't there or slow, I can fall back on digital and vice versa. And it's, you know, I like having that sort of range of things to do. So I'll be at my desk for a few weeks and then I'll be on site for a few weeks. So it sort of breaks it up a bit. I get bored easily. So if I'm sort of sitting around at home for too long, you know, I like to, you know, it helps me refocus as well. So, you know, when you're on a job for too long, I'm sure a lot of people know that out there, whatever you do, when you're on one project for too long, you do tend to sort of lose focus a bit towards the end. You know, you just want to get it done. So the fact that you can sort of, you know, mix it up a bit, I'm lucky that I can do that. So, yeah, I've been at my desk now. I've got a couple of on-site jobs coming up, but yeah, the last few months I've been at my desk, so which is a nice change, especially working from home. It's nice and easy. It's nice sort of balance, if you like.
Yeah.
But in saying that, working at home by yourself, it's as good as it is, you do lose touch with the world. So it is nice to sort of interact with people and the world when you're on site. You know, I tend to, if I'm on site in an office or whatever, and there's other people around, I tend to talk too much because, you know, I've finally got people to talk to while I'm working.
Yeah.
So, but no, all good. I can't complain.
I saw someone the other day recently, someone I follow on Instagram. I can't remember who it was, but another muralist, and they were doing like an AMA asking questions, and it was the question was, do people ever come up and kind of give you tips or tell you what to do? I'm going to ask the same question to you. Do people ever come up and give you tips?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not so much. Yeah, I guess so. You know, they'll ask, oh, you know, how come you're using a brush there instead of this? Or have you ever tried? Because I use brush and house paint. That's how I create most of them. I used to use spray paint, but not so much anymore. And so, yeah, I'll get the whole, well, how come you're doing this with brush and not spray paint? And you know, but everyone's got their own way of doing it, their own style. So, yeah, it's whatever works for you, really. But I get a lot of, you know, a friend of mine's an artist or a muralist. You know, you may know him, and chances are you don't. But you know, but it's all friendly. It's all fun. So, yeah, it is a lot of fun. And one of those things when people come up and chat to you, it actually is it's a good way to meet people and talk and have a chat and interact. So which again, you don't, you know, unless I'm in sort of Zoom meetings or Google Meets for clients, you know, I don't have that on a daily basis. So it is nice finally out doing that. So again, I'm not going to piece this whole, I mean, we're almost there now, but I can, what I'd like to do is start, I've got one ready to go, a full animation of this, but what I'll do, I'll use this one to just show how simple it is really in this program to just do some very basic animation things. So things like, there's a lot of looping things where, you know, things can, you know, run in a circle, you know, there's flickering effects, there's all sorts of stuff. So, and all you do, it's so easy. You click on whatever element you want to animate in here. I'll start with the lion and it's just down here, this animation feature, and it's got things, it's got a whole library of animations that come in from the side, that roll into the artwork or roll out, or these looping ones. So I'll start with looping, and I think from memory, I think it was Flickr that I used for this one. Oops, sorry, here we go.
Yeah, I have go-to favorites.
You press play. Sorry?
I have go-to favorites with this. Like, there's a bunch of animations that I just have never really found a use for, but then I always go back to the breathing one, I think.
Yeah, just to, it sort of adds something. I don't think that was the it was the one. I think it was actually, and then you go, so if I don't like that, no, it was jitter. That's what it was.
Yeah.
There we go. Just to move it around a bit. I'm not going to animate the whole thing because I don't want the whole thing moving, but, a few things like, I don't know, looping, maybe we can go for a spin with this one, that sort of thing. And then when you sort of play it all together, it's adding just something a bit more interesting. It might catch someone's eye a bit more.
Yeah.
When they come across it. So, and again, you can just play around with the different, the intensity. If you want it to spin the other way, it's. I had a lot of fun when I first started using this. It was. What else can I do, sort of thing. So, it's very simple. Again, I'm not going to pretend, that I am an animator in any way. I'm sure there's animators out there that can make really cool things happen, like arms move and all that sort of stuff, and eyes and all those sorts of things. But this is for a bit of extra, to show something that's maybe a little bit more interesting, a little bit more interaction. This is more than enough. So
that's it. And just how quick
I have a lot of fun with this. It's almost every.
Just how quick it is all I was going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's it's adding a bit of just something different now. What I will do while I think of it is get rid of that base layer. We don't need that anymore. And the other thing you can do is, once you've got your animation, you can actually upload music with it. There's a whole bunch of music options in here, so you can actually which is quite cool. Again, having some, I think even on a lot of these social media apps, especially Instagram, you can actually add music to just static images these days, especially with reels and videos and all that sort of stuff. There's a whole audio library that's already built into the program, but it's also got the option of uploading your own music if you like. And again, it just I think it was changed the volume there, but just altogether, it just, rather than having that that static image, now all of a sudden you've got this animation that that has audio, things are moving. I've found with my stuff, people like to see that, so any chance I get now with my digital work, I'll throw it in here and play around with a few of these animation features. I did have, what I'll do, I'll go back to home. I did have the original one ready to go, so we can just here we go. We can just
nice.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's where it is.
And that can just loop.
I know we had
Does that just loop
obviously
around,
a lot more
Alex?
time. That loops, that just keeps looping. So, that just keeps looping. I think when you upload it onto these different platforms anyway, it just keeps looping anyway. Once you finish the video, it'll just play it again. From memory. But you can just keep it going basically. So it's very. I might even show. I've got another one here. I did this one. It's not the same artwork, but I did this one a few years ago for a Transformers exhibition here in Sydney.
I remember seeing that on your Instagram. So cool.
Really different things. It just just adds something different to the static image. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. One of the other cool things here, I don't know if it's worth showing, but once I've finished this animation, which I pretty much have now, the great thing is you can upload it like instantly to your platform. So there's this share button up here. Obviously, you have to link your different socials and website and all that sort of stuff in here first. Yeah, and then down here you can just select. So if I go Instagram, you can actually schedule it. So it's got all the information here. It's saying my Instagram's not connected for whatever reason, but it should be. Yeah, but you can type in your caption. It's pretty much like posting to Instagram. Anyway, it will take a little bit of time to load because it is a larger file with all those animation options in there. And then you can actually go down here and schedule exactly when you want to do it. Because the amount of times that I want to, it might be a Wednesday and I think to myself, okay, I want to do a post at 6 p.m. tonight, and then the day comes, you get busy doing other stuff, and it gets to 8 o'clock, and you're like, oh, I never did that post. I never. I'll have to wait till tomorrow or for a better time. Whereas this, once I've done it, I can schedule it for a date, a time, all that sort of stuff. And I've done that a couple of times where I've actually scheduled something in and forgotten about it, and then all of a sudden, I get a few notifications on my phone from Instagram saying, "Oh, so and so likes your photo." I'm like, "Oh, why are they liking that?" And I realized, it's because I had it scheduled for this time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So that was, I guess, from start to finish. Started in Photoshop. I started with the reference images, research images. Whether it's there's an AI feature in Adobe Express where you can piece together different things. Or I use a lot of stock websites as well for photos and that sort of stuff. Photoshop things together as a template, then bring it into Photoshop. There's the original template. We did the sketch with on a different layer. Sketch rough sort of things, and then take that sketch into Illustrator and draw it from there. So yeah, it's that whole process of coming up with the overall sort of composition, a general concept. Like I was saying, I sort of change my mind as I'm going. Things evolve, different ideas come up while you're working on something. You bring up you get that, and then basically you start in Illustrator, you get this final artwork, and then take it into Adobe Express to give it a couple of extra touches, and hopefully people like it from there. So
that's awesome, man.
That's pretty much the entire process. I'm happy to keep drawing some other things or piecing things together.
No, it's cool. No, it's great. It's so funny with the Express stuff. I talk to the Express team and stuff a lot, and I'm like, so keen to do live streams on it, but the whole thing is that it's so quick and so fast that doing like a long live stream, it's like, hey, you press some of these buttons and then an animation happens. Like, it's awesome. So yeah, it's
pretty much, that's
so
it.
Cool.
That's right. So it is very, very quick. It's like, I guess it's like cooking, isn't it? Once you've got all the prep work done, and then the actual cooking of the stuff is the quick part. So it's very much like this. So you've got all the prep work done. I mentioned yesterday that the most time-consuming part for me is after my sketch is redrawing it in Illustrator, because that's where you refine it, clean it up with the brushes. But again, once that's done and you've got everything there ready to go, it's quite a quick process after that. So awesome. That's pretty much it, really. So
that's us, team. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex. It's been great hanging out with you. And for anyone that missed out yesterday, I think Johanna's just shared a link to the replay there, so you can check it out. So everything that Alex kind of skimmed over there, you can watch in much more detail that we ran through yesterday. And also stick around, because in half an hour, we'll be back with our buddy Jeremy Lord as well. So if you enjoyed this stream, you'll enjoy that stream as well. So Jeremy Lord will be teaching us a bit about coloring. A little bit more beginner focus, but if you've got any specific questions, of course, we're live, so you can throw it in chat. Alex, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Where can people find more of your work, and is Instagram the best place?
Yeah, Instagram, just Alex Lehours, Lehours. I've got my website, which again is just my name.com. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Or if you're in Sydney, you might see me on site, different places. But yeah, that they're the best places to find me. So
That's awesome. All
yeah,
right. Well,
come and
thank
have
you
a look if you
again.
like.
Thank you again, Alex. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back in half an hour with Jeremy Lord. Thanks, Alex. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks very much. See ya.